Hello friends and enemies, I'm Kayla and this is my book haul. I bought a lot of books. I always buy a lot of books and I always go to film a book haul and then I think I've grabbed them all and then I'm like, oh no wait, I grabbed that. Yeah, I bought that one. That was this month. Okay, it's been 6 weeks since I did this last. But I have hauled a lot of these books in different like videos, vlogs, and such anyway. So let's get into the ones that I've already read because then I can direct you to certain videos that they've been featured in. The Other Side of Night by Adam Hamdy is first. This I read in Booktuber Favorites. Let's go through all the ones that I bought for the Booktuber Favorites video. Genius. So this is about like a detective and there is a child who lost his parents and he's going to live with somebody else and the detective wants to make sure he's like safe. But then there's this mysterious note that says like, help, he's trying to kill me. And there is a twist. It's not just a mystery, but go into it expecting a mystery. And then you might like the twist or you might hate it, you know? I don't know. Then we've got Sirens and Muses by Antonia Angres. I don't know where that accent came from. This is about a bunch of art students and a professor and their like relationships with each other and with their work. I feel like I don't say my ratings in my hauls because you can already get that from my wrap-ups, but the way I talk about books, it's definitely implied. I'm like, it was about this. No, it really was a fine book. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Vanessa Jarrett's Got a Man by Laquette. This is, maybe I can't pull off butterfly sleeves. No, this is a romance. We've got a woman who's divorced. She has like a divorced club with her and her friends, and they're all getting involved with new relationships. And she meets this small town police officer, and his sister is getting involved with her ex-husband, and they want to stop it. Then we've got On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong, which is a novel. It is a letter to our character author's mother. It also has a brutal, honest exploration of race, class, masculinity, and our current American moment. What else did I read? I read Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson, which is about this mother who dies and she leaves a voice message to her 2 children. There's been a lot of turmoil within the family recently, so this is kind of bringing the twins back together, making them confront each other in a way and confront more so their history and their family and what happened within the unit, but also the mother is just like exposing her life and telling this story, the experience growing up and a very difficult life that she has gone through. I want to say that's that for that theme, but there is a couple more that I have read and am hauling. And unhauling. This is Redder Days by Sue Rainsford. Somebody messaged me immediately after and they were like, will you send this to me? Because I want it. And I was like, okay. I don't know if they ever responded to my Instagram message though. So if you see this and you're cool with it being highlighted, happy to send it to you. This is about children and a kind of commune cult that they were involved in where there was a guy who was very like in control of the women and birthing practices and weird things, and there's this illness called like, well, it's not called anything, but they refer to it as like someone's redness, and it's like catching in the community. And so different people leave, different people live in different places. The whole book is them like coming back into contact with each other and like reflecting on the impact this man also had with them. But it's also just like a weird, uncomfortable relationship between these twins. So that's that. Then I bought A Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Raybourn. Actually, I got 2 Deanna Raybourns. This one I bought because of this one. The Veronica Speedwell series remains very fun. I read this in my Cozy Mystery sequel episode. I think the rest of the books that I read in that video I had already hauled, but this one I borrowed from the library as a hardcover, and I wasn't excited to read it because I don't love reading hardcovers from the library and all of their wrapping and things. So even though should I haul my library books too? I mean, they're sitting right here, I might as well, but I have some hardcovers that maybe I'll read. What was I saying? The Veronica Speedwell series, this is the second book, and I just happened to find it at the thrift store like the I feel like a couple days before I was going to read it, which was very exciting. And it follows Veronica and Stoker, and they both have like interesting family history that's kind of exposed in the first book. And in this one, they are trying to solve this mystery. This woman has been murdered, and a man has been accused of it, but everyone's like, no, he probably didn't do it. So they insert themselves into this kind of investigation to figure out what happened. And then I grabbed Killers of a Certain Age, which is her newest thing, and I don't actually know if this is the first book in a series, but I hope it's a standalone, and it's about older women. I don't know why I said it like that. It just older women. This spine is interesting because the title is like slanted, and so they also made it slanted here, and I kind of hate it, but I get the vibe. Like, it's fine, but it is gonna bug me on my shelves. Here's what I know about this book. There is a group of like assassins, or there used to be assassins, and now they're older and they're not in their assassinhood anymore. But something happens and they have to come out of retirement or like work together to solve, I think it's a mystery. See, I don't want to read the whole thing, but I vaguely looking at it, it actually sounds more like a thriller, like someone is after them and now they have to survive. So maybe more of like a cozy thriller than a cozy mystery. That sounds fun. Another fun thriller that I've had recommended to me is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. And it's funny because I picked this up for a certain video that I don't want to tell you right now, but it was based on the color of the cover. And then when I went and bought it, it doesn't look like it does in people's pictures or online or in my own picture. Like, there's something about this color that isn't translating. It's like a blue, and I thought it was a green. And so now I can't read it for that video, but I do own it and I obviously want to read it. I don't know what it's about. Let's just read the first of 3 paragraphs together, okay? I mean, it's about a family of killers. Ernie Cunningham, crime fiction aficionado, is a reluctant guest at his family reunion. Family reunions aren't for everyone, of course, but Ern's part of a notorious crime family. And 3 years ago, he witnessed his brother kill a man and immediately turned him into the police. Now Ern's brother is being released from prison and the family is gathering to welcome him home. Oh my gosh. It says it's a classic and modern murder mystery. And I just think that sounds like what I feel like reading. I talked about in my Cozy Mystery sequel video that I don't want to read a lot more sequels and series. I want some standalones. So hopefully that is what I've signed up for. Another standalone that I just got in the mail is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz, which is the Literally Dead Book Club pick for April. I've talked about this a lot in multiple different places at this point, but I officially have it now and it's beautiful. This is the one that I've pitched so many times. It's a writing retreat. People are invited, a bunch of women. I think it's is it all women or just most, or are the main characters women? Somebody dies. Actually, I think it's a man who dies, so I just answered my own question. No, it just says one of the writers vanishes during a snowstorm. So anyway, the person putting on the retreat is like questionable and mean, and then somebody dies. I can't wait to read it. It's gonna be so fun. Okay, let's keep going with mysteries. The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. I did haul this in a vlog, and then I talked about it in this video where I read the first chapter of every book on my TBR, so there are some things here that I've already experienced. I apologize if it feels a bit repetitive. But this, do I know the plot? No, I should don't, but it's cute. Look how cute it is. It's, it kicked off the first chapter, because I didn't read the synopsis, with 2 women who are both authors, but like very different success levels, and they're interacting at this lunch that they get together occasionally, and they seem to have like a hesitant relationship. Like, they're both a little cautious around each other, but they've been such close friends for so long that they're also kind of like the only person that they feel comfortable opening up to. I think they go on a vacation to a villa. What happens there? Probably somebody dies, because that's just how things go. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's just get through the other things that I read the first chapter of. We've got Greenwood by Michael Christie, which is set in the near future, and the environment is in collapse. And we have this woman, was it a woman? I think there's a woman. And she's putting on like a tour of the oldest forests in BC. And she's talking as if she knows something. I can't tell the vibe. If it's like science fiction, like futuristic stuff that she knows something bad is about to happen, or if when she says like, I hate giving people this hope for the future, if it's more just like the world is ending and she knows that like the forests are depleting. I think I just don't know if it's more literary in tone or if it's gonna get speculative, I guess is my question. But the first chapter intrigued me enough, and I think it's beautiful. Then we've got The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi, which the first chapter I really enjoyed. And this guy met up with this woman but didn't know he was meeting up with a woman. I can't really remember how it set off. Like, he thought he was meeting up with this like mysterious person who had all the answers to some type of question, and then he got there and it was a woman. And then at the end of their meeting, like, she had drawn blood on his body, and it sounds like the kickoff to a fairy tale. Though somebody commented and they were like, it's not like that. It is a YA thriller, and I thought that was interesting. Then we've got Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, which I was very excited to stumble upon. This is about two friends. I feel like when I talked about this, it sounded like I thought it was like futuristic technology, video game virtual reality stuff. And like, I knew that's not what it was, but I still put it in my little speculative section of my bookshelves, which was a mistake. You all told me that it is just this relationship between these two people throughout their lives. And I'm very excited to get into it someday. I think I gave the first chapter a 10 out of 10. Then we got Where I End by Sophie White. This one and this one were on my friends recommend however many reads for the year, and so I purchased them and now I have them. So this one started out really weird where, well, I'm sure the whole book is weird. There's a woman in a house and her mother is in the house, but I think her mother is dead, but I think her mother is the house or is part of the house, or they share consciousness or something. It was very uncomfortable language, and I'm intrigued. Then we've got The Iliac Crest by Christina Rivera Garza, translated by Sarah Booker. An unnamed narrator is visited by two women, someone they know and someone they don't know, and they're interrogating him about something. And then the last one, I think I read the first chapter of, is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, which, again, I read, it's funny because I read the first chapter of all these books, and then I said my first impressions, and then sometimes I think like it sounded like I was trying to sum up the entire book, because it says there's two different like stories in here, but then people were like, no, it's just one story. I think it's just following this man's life in Nigeria, and he goes through two different experiences throughout the book. The first chapter didn't really give me enough insight into what those experiences are, so I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10 for intrigue, and I will pick it up. I will read it to completion one day. I don't know what my voice just did. Okay, then we have 5 books that I just bought because. And now this is so confusing because like, where do I put these on my bookshelves? You know what I mean? Like if I haven't read the first chapter, can I put them on the top shelf, 10 out of 10? Do I put them on the bottom shelf, which was like 7 to 9 out of 10 for intrigue? Because I feel like I'm assigning them a number, and I don't want to do that. So now they just, where do I put them? Where do I put them? I'm scared. So one of them is The Trees Grew Because I Bled There by Eric LaRocca, which is a short story collection. I didn't read any more into it. It's 8 stories of dark fiction, which pretty much sums up everything from this author. There's a couple in the park with their small child having an encounter with a stranger. There's a toxic relationship reaching a terrifying resolution. There's a woman imagining horrific scenarios whilst caring for her infant niece. Oh dear. This is going to be uncomfortable. Can't wait. Then another short story collection. Is this a short story collection? Yes, it says Stories by Morgan Talty. It's called Night of the Living Rez. I saw a lot of people talk about this last year, so I picked it up. There are 12 stories in here. They're luminescent. There's a vocab word for you. With searing humor, abiding compassion, and deep insight, breathing life into tales of family and a community as they struggle with the painful past and an uncertain future. Then I have 2 romances, one that I picked myself and one that was picked for me. So this is The Neighbor Favor, which I've been super anticipating. I just only realized you can actually see the book that they're holding. It's called The Elves? The Elves of Garradon by N.R. Strickland. I think that's him. And she lives next to this author and she loves his books. And they like connect over email. She's a fan or she works in the industry and they connect over email. They like maybe fall in love over email. And then they meet in person and one of them knows who the other one is and one of them doesn't. Or something. And then this one I pulled out of my members TBR jar. It's called Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt, which I didn't already own or know about. And then I bought it and it's here. And it's about 2 comedians who fall in love. And it's just like a rom-com. Do I know the rest of the plot? I think the person said it was fake dating. And it quickly begins to feel like anything but a joke. I love that. Okay, and then I'm adding to my list of friend recommendations, The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich, which I wasn't planning on picking up, but Darian has been very relentless in this recommendation, so I'm gonna give it a go. I saw this originally in the Goodreads Choice Awards, and I don't know the plot. Like I literally couldn't tell you a single thing about it. I can't even remember what category it was in. I want to say sci-fi. It looks like sci-fi. Let's read the first half of the synopsis, okay? It seems like any other day. You wake up, pour a cup of coffee, and head out. But today, when you open your front door, oh, this is written in such an interesting perspective. Okay, today when you open your front door, waiting for you is a small wooden box. This box holds your fate, the exact number of years you will live. Listen, I didn't buy this brand new or anything, not knowing anything about it, I promise. From suburban doorsteps to desert tents, every person on every continent receives the same box. In an instant, the world is thrust into a collective frenzy. Where did these boxes come from? What do they mean? Is there truth to what they promise? I wonder, are we following a bunch of different people? Are they all like short stories? Are they all connected? Are we just following? No, it looks like we're just following 2, 3, 4 people? Okay, color me intrigued. Now let me show you my library books. I don't always do this, but I'm thinking it will at least maybe hold me accountable to read them. Or it'll make for an interesting piece of content later in the year where I can rewatch all of these hauls and all the library books that I reserved and didn't read, and then force myself to actually read some of them. What do you think? This one I will definitely read because it showed up in my TBR jar. I think I'm gonna read this month because somebody said that it was an extremely fast read, which checks out because it's written entirely in Slack messages. And it says something about this guy uploading his consciousness into Slack, which like what? That sounds like a lot of fun. Then I have Dear Cinthurin by Akwaeke Emezi, which is like a memoir about just their life experience, gender and body image and such as. Then we have A History of Fear by Luc Dumas. I think originally I thought that this was nonfiction. I don't know, because it says A History of Fear. And so I was like, okay, so it's like the history of horror. But then I realized it was a different book I had on my TBR that was A History of Horror. So, oh gosh. I did learn before I actually picked it up that it was about a crime. We have Grayson Hale, who's the most infamous murderer in Scotland, better known as the Devil's Advocate. He says that the devil made him kill somebody and then he ends up in jail and then he dies in jail or prison. And there's like a note saying that like it really was the devil, and they're gonna figure out, I guess, the investigators, if like, I don't know, is this just a regular thriller or is it supernatural? We'll find out. Will we find out, Kayla? I don't know. I also grabbed The Black House by Carol Johnstone, who is an author that I have a book from in my TBR closet called Mirrorland that I haven't read. But this is just one of my favorite covers, and I'm pretty sure I was the very first person to get this copy because it just recently came out, and it again is in Scotland and we're in a remote village. But the community is hiding a terrible secret. Someone was murdered. It's a gothic suspense. Here's the thing. Was I intrigued about it? Yes. Did I reserve it without knowing when I would actually read it or if I had time in my TBR? Yes. Did it just show up at my door and now I don't know how to fit it into a TBR? Yes. Is the synopsis now doing anything more for me that's making me prioritize it over the hundreds of things I already own? No. I really just need one person to be like, no, yeah, it's worth your time, and I will try to do it. And then I also grabbed this, Partners in Crime by Alicia Ray, who I can't remember who I saw talk about this, but they said it was like a really fun rom-com because in my romance journey, I've discovered I want more funny, fun ones as opposed to heartfelt and warm ones. And somebody in that capacity somewhere told me that this would fit the bill. So I saw it at the library and just picked it up, not knowing when I would get to actually read it. I might have to return it. I don't know. Here's what I know. We've got Mira. She's from a dysfunctional family. Then we've got Naveen, and they matched together via a matchmaker, but he's too busy for her. He's got a lot going on. And the synopsis then switches to say like, now they're on a mad dash to Las Vegas, escaping jewel thieves, evading crime bosses, and following clues to untangle the mess her family left behind. So like, this could be my perfect mix between romance and mystery, because all of my mystery books don't have enough romance and all of my romance books don't have enough action. So like, this could be it. Where do I fit this into my TBR? Anyway, those are the 22 books that I bought in the last 6 weeks. Some of them I had pre-ordered, but they arrived at my doorstep. And then 5 library books that are also here and might not be here for very long. Either because I just have to give them back because somebody else needs a chance to read them, or because I've read them and I can give them back. So thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know in the comments, as you kindly do, what you thought of the books that I hauled, if you are interested in any of them yourself, what you want me to prioritize. Like, obviously I wish I could just read them all immediately because I'm excited about all of them, but I'm also excited about every brand new shiny book, and then sometimes they sit in my TBR closet for 3 years. Anyway, I'll see you later with a vlog actually this weekend that's very exciting, that doesn't include any of the books that I just showed you. Okay, bye.